In this exercise, I will show you how I would approach exploring the design of a chair by simply first starting with rectangular shapes, which then I scale, style, and place into position to explore how the chair proportionally could be configured, and then use the gained insight to quickly design some variations. Again, everything is not meant to be very precise, but more as an extension of hand sketching, simply exploring an idea three-dimensionally quickly. Okay, so let's go to File, New, General. Our units we will set to imperial and inches. Our snapping will be set to increment and absolute grid snap. And we will start with a new plane, which we will set to 16 inches. And location, this can go 16 inches high. Then we can zoom in and rotate our view and zoom out a little bit. Okay, so this is kind of like our seating surface. If I Control C, Control V, make myself a copy, and then I would rotate it by 90 degrees. There we are. I can then also move this one down and Control snap it to the bottom. Okay, that's kind of like the legs. This is my seating area. Now let's do the backrest. Control C, Control V. I will this time turn on here the transform property, and along Y we can set this to 90 degrees. I also have the point select, move this one up, move this one down, and then I move this one over to there. Very good. So that's going to be a pretty uncomfortable chair with that type of a backrest. So we would like to rotate it a little bit. To make things a little bit easier, I will go into edit mode, select these 2 points, Shift S, cursor to selected, and in object mode, right click, origin to 3D cursor. Cool, because now I can Control Z, Control V, and then say, well, make this one 100, Control C, Control V, make this one 105. Oh, was the wrong one. There we are. Okay, so let's go to a side view. We go to wireframe so we can see everything, and this one should be 95. Okay. The reason why I made these 3 backrests is just simply so you can understand how, for example, very quickly, just via working with planes, we can explore various configurations. It's not that standards say it has to be 95 degrees, it has to be 100 degrees. There's play. Obviously, we don't want to make this too big, because then we don't really have a chair anymore. So let's say here the 100, this is the one we like. This looks very good. So I call this backrest 100. Very good. And here these 2 we could keep, and I will actually simply hide them. Very good. So in terms of stability, when my hip would be around here, the leg I would like to be further behind me. So if I wiggle on my room, I don't fall backwards. I can go to edit mode, select this point, go to move this to the right, and then I hold Control and snap to this position. Also here, I can select this point too. So we have this edge, X, and delete edge. Okay, so now it doesn't look too bad. It starts taking a little bit of shape. No, taking a little bit of shape. Very nice. So how do we continue and try to turn this into a basic design? This we will call exploration. Let's make a new collection, and we can select this and this, Shift D and escape. Let me move this to collection 2 and call this chair 1. Okay. So with this object selected, we'll go into edit mode, select these 2 points. Then we can press E to extrude and hold the control key and move to this point. And there you see it snaps right to there. Perfect. These 2 points you will select, go to a side view and press E and Z, and then we type in -2. So we move this down 2 inches. Okay, so let's go into shaded mode. This exploration collection can now be turned off. And in the next step, then we go to edge select, select these 2 edges. We'll give this an edge weight of 1 for the bevel, so we can give this a bevel 2 inches and maybe 10. That's okay. No, it doesn't look too bad. Okay. This is a flat sheet, so let's give this a thickness, 1/2 inch. That looks good. Let's go with complex. So there you see when we turn complex on versus simple, how this looks different. Okay, very nice. Okay, no, that's not too bad. Let's go to object mode. Right click, shade smooth. With this object selected, go to the object data, normals, and we turn on this edge smoothing. So proportionally, this is actually, for the moment, let's say first, sufficient. There's obviously a lot more we can do to this, but before we continue, maybe it's time to take a look at the legs. So here we have this object. First, what I will do in my case, this object center point, I want to bring down here to the world center. Yeah, so Shift S, cursor to world origin, and then right click origin to 3D cursor. Also here we will go into edit mode. Point select, select these 2 points, and we can give this a vertex value of 1. Because we only have these 2 points, we not necessarily have to, but it's good practice to do it. So we go then add bevel modifier, 2 inches and 10, and we don't really see anything because we need to switch this to vertex and then weight. So only these weighted points will get a value. Cool. Now, how do we give this a thickness? There's a skin modifier, which is very useful for visualizing piping really fast. The pipe this skin modifier creates is square in its cross section. It's not necessarily, again, super precise, but it is very fast to work with. In Fusion, when we do piping, you will see this is actually quite labor intensive. So it's all about speed and understanding versus perfection. So we go skin modifier. Now this looks a little bit crazy. We press A to select everything. Hit escape A, yeah, so everything is selected. And then here we have a mean radius for X and Y. Click 0.01, click 0.01. So this 0.01 is close to 3/4 of an inch. To verify this, we can go to object mode, go to a side view, make a cube, and then 0.75, 0.75, 0.75. There we are. And then this cube, I can bring closer and rotate, and then there I can see now a value of 1 for the skin modifier is very close to 0.75 diameter. Now the legs, as we can see, stick through. That's not ideal. Let's go into edit mode. Because we're using just a simple mesh, we can move this one down till, for example, there this lines up. So that is good. And select this, bring this back a little bit, maybe till there. Okay. So the front is also can be slightly angled. There we can see that this is not super ideal. We will fix this just in a moment. But before we continue, we can move this one to here. Okay, so I'm a little bit outside. And then we will add the mirror modifier along the y-axis to there. Turn smooth shading on for the skin. And then auto smooth, so we have sharp edges being sharpened and the rest will be nice and round. Okay. Now to fix the backrest, we can go to a side view, go to edit. Turning this on here allows us to go into X-ray mode. And X-ray mode selects through. It's actually pretty useful. And when we slide this back, you see what happens. We are changing the flow of that surface a little bit. And there, now we are matching kind of like the curvature of this chair to the curvature of the leg. Think about the chair's as a bent plywood surface. Cool. Okay, well, that wasn't actually too complicated. Let's say we would like to add some details. Opening and maybe a detail on the back. So we will go add, mesh and cube. Our hand is around 4 inches. So Y is 4 inches and then X is 1 inch. Z 2 inches. Then apply the scale. Actually here, let's switch Z to, this is 1 and X is 2. Let's go into edit mode, edge select, select just only these edges. We give this a weight of 1 for the edge and add a bevel modifier 0.25, 10, and all this only along the weighted area. Pretty good. Now you see the fillets are, well, the fillet result is kind of wonky, and that's because the scale factor there is still there. And let's zoom in, and when I apply the scale, you will see how now the rounding looks perfect. right click, shade smooth, Q, auto smooth. No, this is actually, that's 100 degrees, so it's 10 degrees. So when we rotate this one by 5 degrees negative, is this edge perpendicular? No, it's not. So 10 degrees. Let's see. Yep, that fits. Let's go to local orientation. Again, move this one up, snap to this corner point, slide this in. Very nice. And I would like just to have 1 inch offset to the top. So slide this down, -1. There we are. Also here, new collection. We can call this trim. This is my hand trim. I put this in there and hide it. Give this a new Boolean modifier. Object, here's my hand trim. There we are. Looks like all the objects are okay. And maybe we cut off the left side to open something kind of like a hook or so I could put my jacket over. We'll start with a cube again. This time here I use S key, scale this. Along Y we wrote this by 10 degrees. Then X has to be rotated 2 by 45. Bring this in. Go to the front view. So can bring this over to there. And we'll go to this view and then try to put the center point right over this corner. Very nice. Okay, so which one is which one? This is the one. So maybe this is 5. And X is just 2. Okay, this is all good. Then we will go to Object, Apply, Scale, go to Edit Mode, and then we will add 2 loop cuts. Loop cuts here. So Control R, and then use the mouse wheel 1 time. So we have 2 cuts, click and escape. Here we can add more loop cuts. The factor should be 0. There we are. Okay. What's the distance between them? Let's go to edge length. Select this edge. So 1.67. That's not very good. So we hold the Alt key or Option. Click on this edge. Shift. So hold Shift and Alt key. Click on this edge. We selected both loops. Go to Scale. Scale this till the inner edge is 1 inch. There. Go to Face Select. Select this face. Go to Extrude. And maybe 1.5 inches. Very nice. Okay, that looks pretty good. We can call this corner trim. Put this in there. Let's save this bent plywood chair. I will call this lecture, since that is my file. And can add a new Boolean at this point. Here is my corner trim. There we are. Pretty nice. So you see that actually to create a very basic chair, as a proportional study and then adding some details to it is really not complicated. And by using the modifiers, we gain a significant amount of flexibility to explore then various ideas. If I would want to change the backrest, obviously then let's say the backrest will be moved a little bit further back. And then because these objects do not line up, we don't really see any of the cuts, so we would have to rotate and reposition them. So that manual task will be there, but everything else actually will be very easy. So if we want to move this down by another minus 0.5 of an inch, so I have 1.5 inch distance to the top. You see, that's super easy to do. Not complicated. Or bring it back up. 0.5. Okay, so this is everything for part 1, and then in part 2 I will show you how we can take this shell and turn it more into a bent surface.